What's up, guys? This is MEOW WONKA. Kind of want to go over a few concepts that I've been kind of working with lately. Um, and I also want to talk a little bit about tutting later on in the tutorial. But I guess to start off with, I've been working around with a lot of chain reaction theories, incorporating the use of objects, not exactly using an object in the show, but recreating the movement of an object that we would use in everyday life and incorporating it into your show. An example like music boxes, springs, things like that, pepper shakers, pepper grinders. So the first thing that I want to mention when it comes to creating or thinking about incorporating chain reaction concepts into your show would be to practice timing. Timing and perception would probably be the two key points to creating a chain reaction concept, or at least coming up with one. Simply because if you really look at what creates a chain reaction, it's all timing. Something has to happen, which then leads to another reaction happening, which then leads to another reaction happening. If all those reactions happen at the same time, it wouldn't be a chain reaction. It would just be a series of events happening at the same time. So, I guess one of the few, sequences that I've kind of come up with that would include a chain reaction theory would be something like this. Kind of got the idea from bubbles popping and pin drops, which is kind of weird how I mixed the two together coming up with this, but so here it goes. So a good way to do it would be to start off right here, come up, boom, boom, so here I'll do it again. So the whole point of it would be that because this hand rose, the thumb lifted, because this finger pointed up, the entire hand drops down, which then creates the finger wave to scroll down all the way down to the pinky. And then when I drop this finger, these open, and this one opens to bring it back up. So it's all timing. Anybody could have done that one right after the other very quickly, and even though it would have still looked dope, it wouldn't have given it the effect that we're looking for. Another thing would be like a music box theory. Almost works like a chain reaction concept. So in my mind, when I think of a music box, I think of a knob or the ballerina being turned, which then releases a pin, which makes the ballerina twirl around, or whatever is in the center of the music box. Then once the ballerina stops twirling, it stops, and then the pin drops. So I'm not an engineer, so I'm not saying that's exactly how a music box works, but that's just how I view it in my head. So what I came up with that would be for instance, so you would go. This would be you would start rotating this hand backwards, which would be the first rotation to get the ballerina going. Then you would turn, this pin would drop and move, which would then make this one start turning. And then you could do something like that. Again, I'm still messing around with it, trying to find something a little bit more relevant that gives the illusion a lot better than that last example, but it's just something I've been working with. I guess the final thing would be springs, like springs in a pen, or springs in a mouse trap, how they spring up and trap something, So one of the theories that I found would be to just drop your hand, and then, so whenever you flick your thumb, your hand would jump, fall right back down, and you could give the effect of it bouncing back up on a spring, What else? would be another good spring example. And I came up with one the other day. So another good one would be like, for instance, you're right here and you go, you know, and like realistically speaking, a lot of us go do like one of these, or we'll go like, you know what I'm saying? But it'd be more so if you could like, you know, spring the, you know, and then bring it right back, you know, something like that. Yeah, that's about all I got on those concepts. So I hope I was able to enlighten you on maybe coming up with your own ideas. I guess the last thing I kind of want to talk about would be some tutting. Just a few pointers for you guys out there that are just getting into it or want to expand some more. One thing that I find that helps me with tutting for starters is keeping your hands loose. What I mean by your hands, I mean literally your hands. You always want to make sure your hands are at a 90-degree angle. So if you turn from the side, this is creating a 90-degree angle, this is creating a 90-degree angle, this is creating a 90-degree angle, and this is creating a 90-degree angle. So no matter which way you hold it, it should always be creating a 90-degree angle. That's how you know that your angles are going to be straight. So another thing would be to keep these hands loose. I notice a lot of people, they duck terribly. And a lot of it has to do because you're basically like forcing your hand to like be straight instead of just leaving it loose and it will naturally be straight. If you sit there and tense up your hand, it's just not gonna look right. Also, I'm a true believer, if the looser your hands are, the more fluid your tuts will look. Yeah, that was kind of sloppy. But yeah, it would make your tuts look a little bit more fluid. Also, shifting your tuts in position to different positions at every intersection that you come up to. I know it's kind of awkward to sit there and, you know, you start tutting or whatever, and then you like, doom, doom. Like a lot of people, it confuses the shit out of a lot of people to sit there and just move over to the side and start tutting. And it simply has to do with, because you're not looking at the tuts in a three-dimensional space. A lot of the people who have trouble with turning and doing other angles, usually I found it's because they still view tuts as a two-dimensional figure. So they do 2D tuts, you know. One thing that helps would be to literally stand in front of a mirror and look at what your hands can do, you know. So I mean, obviously you can like, let's see what would be, I think it would be like this one right here, you know. So you can go doom, 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 you know. You could just literally stand in front of a mirror and just see where your angles are at. And again, once you make sure that your angles are at 90 degrees, you'll see so many other pathways for angles way easier, because you'll be seeing those straight lines. If your hands are crooked in any way, your tuts just aren't gonna look that clean, and you're gonna lose yourself because you're not gonna be working at a straight angle. And that's how a lot of people end up getting frustrated with touch or something like that, or you know, they just can't progress in them. It's because after a while you kind of have to start noticing your angles have to be clean for you to be able to start expanding and seeing other angles that you can use. And I guess the last thing would be sound effects. Believe it or not, gloving and doing sound effects helps me so much. I'll literally sit there and be like, you know, and just sit there and do stupid ass sound effects. simply because you want to try and mimic the sounds that you're making, and you might stumble upon something cool, or like it may not even be something tech. It could just be a movement of liquid that maybe you've found or something like that, you know, and you could start incorporating it into your show. What else? Oh, one other thing. Don't forget your body counts as a box. I know I'm skipping subjects, but don't forget that your body can be used as a box for tutting. Okay, so like, you know, if you look at it correctly, if you look at it from here,